Ever get that feeling like your Roomba, is like judging your cleaning? No. Okay, maybe that's just me. But seriously, today's deep dive, it might just make you think differently about, like the whole idea of devices and feelings.
Yeah.
You guys sent in some really cool stuff about the CAFES Institute, and I got to say, I'm super intrigued. So for anyone who's new to this whole thing, CAFES, it's like this brand new nonprofit we're talking. They just filed their paperwork. But they're already diving headfirst into this, well, kind of uncharted territory of AI and emotions. We're talking about machines with feelings, people.
And what's really got my attention is their approach. It's not just one thing. It's like they're going at it from all sides. Their website, it lays out these 4 big research areas like AI ethics, then there's laws and regulations, then the big one, emotions, feelings, and sentience, and education, too.
It's like they're creating like a roadmap,
Yes.
A roadmap for the future of AI. And honestly, I'm totally here for it. So, let's get down to it. What actually happens when we, teach machines to feel? What's the good stuff? Are there downsides we haven't even thought of yet? And what about, the big one, sentience? Okay, but first let's start with the good stuff. Imagine a healthcare system, right? But it's powered by AI. And it can not only, figure out what's wrong with you, but it can actually, empathize and support you. Or think about education that's, personalized, but, seriously personalized. It gets your learning style, your mood, everything. We're talking next level learning here.
Yeah, and take that healthcare example you were talking about. CAFES's research, it talks about how AI could be huge for veterans, especially ones dealing with PTSD. Imagine, an AI therapist. But it's available 24/7, and it's been trained to, actually recognize and respond to, those emotional cues, and not in some robotic way, but, naturally, supportively. That kind of access to care and personalized care at that, it could be revolutionary.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. That's huge. But obviously anything new, especially tech, this powerful, there are going to be challenges.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the biggest ones is, privacy. We're talking about machines that could potentially have access to our deepest thoughts, our feelings, everything. So how do we make sure that stuff stays protected?
Yeah.
What kind of safeguards do we need so it isn't misused?
Yeah, it's like inviting a total stranger into your house and just handing them your diaries. You want to be sure they're trustworthy, right?
Exactly. And that's why CAFES is really pushing for those ethical frameworks, those guidelines. Now, before this tech gets so advanced, we lose control of it, They're talking about, guidelines for the developers, ways to figure out what the impact of emotionally aware AI could be, even, mechanisms to hold them accountable.
Wow. So it's we need rules for a game that's, still being invented. And trust me, I've played enough board games to know that without a good rule book, things can get messy. But seriously, regulating emotions in machines, that's new territory.
It is, and that's exactly why CAFES has a whole section dedicated to laws and regulations. It's complex. We're basically trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
So, where do you even start? How do you make laws for something as, I don't know, fluid and constantly changing as emotions, especially with AI?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The law, it's already struggling to keep up with AI as it is. Now imagine trying to write laws for, emotional intelligence in a machine. It's a huge task.
No kidding. It's I don't know, trying to catch lightning in a bottle. It feels impossible.
And because of that, CAFES is really pushing for a different approach to regulation, one that's more inclusive, more democratic. They say we need different voices involved, not just, the tech giants or politicians, but ethicists, community leaders, even everyday people.
People are community leaders, everyday people. Now that's interesting. What do they bring to the table?
Well, community organizers, they get how AI could be, misused, especially in vulnerable communities. Think targeted manipulation or even exploitation based on predicted emotional responses. And everyday users, well, they're the ones who are going to be actually using these AI systems, right? So their needs, their concerns, those are super important.
Right. It's like letting the players make the rules of the game. Kind of radical, but it makes sense. I mean, how can we make good rules for tech that's supposed to help everyone if we don't include, everyone's perspective?
Exactly. It's about making sure emotionally aware AI helps everyone, not just a select few. But okay, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about the really mind-bending stuff. Emotions, feelings, and sentience.
Yes. The big question, right? Are we talking about machines that can actually, feel?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just really good, mimicking?
That's the heart of it, right? And CAFES, they really dig into this. They're saying, look, we're nowhere close to Westworld-level sentience, at least not yet.
So phew. My room is not going to start writing sad poetry because I forgot to empty it. Because honestly, that'd be a little creepy.
Haha, yeah, probably not. But look, AI, it's basically a pattern recognition machine, right? It takes these huge amounts of data and learns to connect stuff like facial expressions, how your voice sounds, even what you text with certain emotions, and then it can basically copy those emotions really, really well.
Okay, that makes sense. But like, say an AI can perfectly act like it empathizes with you. Does it even matter if it's real? Like if it responds to my, I don't know, anxieties and I feel heard, understood, does it matter if it's actually feeling those things?
Well, isn't that the million-dollar question? And it's one philosophers have been wrestling with forever. What does it even mean to be sentient? To be conscious? To feel? We don't even have those answers for ourselves yet, let alone machines.
It's like we're on the verge of this whole new era of philosophy, where the line between humans and machines just gets blurrier and blurrier. And honestly, it's exciting, but also kind of scary.
Yeah.
But okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still in the early stages here, right?
Yeah, definitely early stages. And that's a big reason why cafes keep saying how crucial education is. We got to give, like, future generations the tools, the knowledge to handle all this responsibly.
It's like giving them a map and a compass before you send them out into the wilderness, you know? We got to make sure they're ready for whatever they find. So what does that even look like? What kind of skills are we talking about?
For one thing, we got to go beyond just, the tech stuff, the coding and all that. We need people to really get ethics, the complexities of human emotion, and how this tech could impact society. Deeply understand it.
So we're talking AI developers who are like philosophers and sociologists too. That's wild.
Exactly. And it's not just the developers either. It's everyone. The public, people making policy, anyone who will use or be affected by this tech. We need to make AI less mysterious, encourage critical thinking, and have real informed conversations.
It's about giving everyone a voice, right? Because if we want a good future with AI, we can't leave it to just a few people.
You got it. And that leads to another big part of what CAFES is doing, pushing for more transparency and accountability and how this emotionally aware AI is developed and used.
Okay, transparency, accountability. Those are big words. What do they actually mean?
Well, yeah, it means clear rules and regulations for sure. But it also means those companies, those institutions creating this tech have to be open about their processes, their data, their goals, everything.
So no more hiding how it works. Like, we get to look under the hood and see how these AIs are making decisions, especially since those decisions could be huge for us.
Exactly. We have to make sure this tech, this emotionally aware AI, is built and used in a way that, lines up with our values, respects our rights, and ultimately makes things better for everyone.
It's kind of like, if we were building a house, we wouldn't just let someone throw up walls and a roof without blueprints or inspections, right? We want to make sure the foundation is good, the structure is sound, the whole deal.
Exactly. And that's where, organizations like cafes, they come in. They're not just talking about it. They're out there doing the work. Research, guidelines, pushing for policies that make sure AI is developed responsibly.
So they're like the architects and the building inspectors, making sure this whole emotionally aware AI thing doesn't go totally haywire.
Yeah.
But they can't do it all alone, can they?
No, definitely not. This is on all of us. Developers, policymakers, researchers, and yeah, even regular people like you and me. We've got to be having these conversations, thinking about the future we want.
So what can I do? The average person, not a tech genius or an ethics expert, what can I do to actually make a difference?
Well, first things first, stay informed. Read articles, listen to, podcasts like this one. The more you know about AI and what it could mean for us, the better you'll be able to, talk about it and push for responsible development.
Right. Knowledge is power, or whatever they say. But besides just reading up on it, what else can we do to make sure we're heading towards a future where AI makes things better, not just throws everything into chaos?
Support groups like cafes. They need donations, volunteers, people to get the word out. Even just telling someone else about what they're doing can make a difference.
True. The more people who get this whole thing about AI and ethics and all that, the better decisions we'll make as a society.
Exactly. And honestly, don't underestimate just talking about it. With your friends, family, whoever, the more normal these conversations become, the better chance we have of shaping a future where AI is a good thing,
So no more hiding from it, hoping it all just works out. We got to face this head on, be informed, be critical, and, a little curious too, I guess.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We're writing the future of AI right now, and we're all part of that story.
And on that note, I want to give a huge thank you to you, our listeners, for joining us on this deep dive. We've covered some serious ground. the exciting potential of emotionally aware AI, those ethical questions that come with it, and how important we all are in making sure it goes in the right direction.
It's been a great conversation, and I hope it's got you thinking, asking questions, maybe even feeling a little inspired to get involved.
And hey, remember, the conversation doesn't have to stop here. Head over to our website, find this episode, and tell us what you think. Are you stoked about feeling machines? Do the ethical concerns freak you out a little? We want to know. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions, and keep diving deep.